Why invest in a life insurance when there's so many investment opportunities out there?
Rich individuals and families throughout the years have used life insurance as a form of a family bank. They loan out the money to themselves without paying any gains taxes.
How can I buy real estate using my life insurance policy?
And if anything happens to you right now, what are the promises you've made to your family that we need to pay off?
I would think it would be the ideal thing to do is to buy a policy for your children.
I've made a difference in this person's life. I've left their home knowing that they're protected.
I'm thrilled to have Tagui Tina Zakarian as my guest today. Fun fact, Tina is my sister-in-law. She's married to my awesome brother, but that's not why she's here. She's here because she is a wonderful expert in the field of life and health insurance. And I feel like we're going to have a wonderful conversation, a lot of value, a lot of learning. So thank you, Tina, for taking my invitation.
Thank you for having me. Yes, we are related. But I'm very honored that you've chosen me to be a part of your podcast. So thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting with you.
Likewise, Tina Jan. I feel like you have a lot to offer, a lot of great information, and I just want to be able to provide that on this platform. Okay, so Tina, I know you have achieved great things in the field of health and life, but you're part of an elite, a prestigious group called Million Dollar Roundtable. Can you kind of explain what that means to be part of that?
Yes, so it is a part of an organization I've been a part alongside maybe about 7 to 8 years. So in our industry, to be a part of that MDRT, Million Dollar Roundtable, you have to be an agent that shows ethics, professionalism, and it is an elite group. It's just like saying that anyone can play basketball, but when you're part of the NBA, you know you've made it. So when you do have that on your business card and you talk to another professional and they know that you're a part of MDRT, that means you've made it in the industry.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's something to look forward to, I think, right? In your field, when you know that's something that you want to reach and accomplish. And when you make it, it's like a validation that I've made it.
Correct. And knowing that where it comes, the tricky part is staying there. You don't, once you made it, yes, you've made it, but every year you have to recertify, show them your production, show them your numbers, show them that you're good with your ethics. So every year you have to recertify with them. So being with them for about 7 to 8 years, you get there, but you need to stay there.
Yeah, I understand that. That's wonderful. So as an agency owner, you're also in charge of training and leading over, 100, 120 agents that are coming into the field. Can you also explain what that leadership role is like? Because that's a lot of skills, you know?
Yeah, it's exciting. I definitely love to help people, and helping those agents. They have different personalities, so you get to figure out. I'm a great listener, so I'll listen to them, what they want the industry and the business to do for them. I try to find out their why. Why are they in this business? What do they want this business to do for them? And that's where figuring out what value can I bring for them to achieve their goals. So that's where I come in and I partner up with them, because these agents, they're independent agents. They can choose to work with us and with me at the agency or not. So that's where bringing in value to their business, figuring out what they want what they want the business to do for them, and taking them there alongside with them. So I'm not their boss. We are partnering up to make their goals and the business come true.
That's wonderful. What's the key to helping them succeed? Because I believe the field is not hard, but it's not easy either to survive in. When you're mentoring, what are you noticing? What type of characters does the individual need to have in order to thrive?
Oh yeah, we go through a filter when someone comes in. We're filtering them, trying to figure out their maturity level, because we are working with people and their finances and their money. So we figuring out how mature they are, and figuring out how trusted they are. Because when an agent comes in, They are the trust factor. I'm the partner that does the knowledge factor. So for this to work, they must come in with people around them that trust them already.
Okay.
So that's number one thing. If they're likable, people around them trust them, and they are go-getters and personality to do it on their own. They don't need me to, because I'm not your boss. I'm not going to tell you. We will work together and you have to meet me halfway. So those are all characteristics that really work well, that agents that come in and it clicks and it works, those are the things that we're seeing.
I see. I see. So when it comes to life insurance, I feel like life insurance has come such a long way. I remember my second job in United States was working as a telemarketer for a life insurance company. My job was to make sure I make appointments. And then my bosses would go and explain the programs and all of that. And I remember back then it was very difficult because our community didn't trust the idea of life insurance. There was a lot of skepticism and there's a lot of distrust. What if the company goes bankrupt? What if this? What if that? But it has evolved and has come a long way. What are some of the major notable changes that the industry has seen?
Oh, you are absolutely right, Luce. Like, oh my God, it's changed so much.
Yes.
When I started 17 years ago, it was like life insurance. I die, someone else gets the money.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, don't want to do it because they're like, what's in it for me? Like, you want me, Tina, to work really hard, pay for this, so when I die, someone else gets the money. It was not exciting for that person. So definitely, it's like what you were doing. When was that? Like 20 years ago,
Yes.
right? 18 years ago. And when I started, it was like having the iPhone 3. It was what can the iPhone 3 do for you? Messages and make phone calls. Now the insurance industry, the life insurance industry has evolved to an iPhone 15.
Yeah.
It's like if I asked you, Lucy, what would an iPhone 3 do for me and an iPhone 15? It's crazy how it's
Right.
evolved because iPhone 15 can do so much for us now. And that's what's happening as the insurance, the products and the carriers and the plans have developed so much that now it can do something for you while you're alive. It brings value to you while you're living.
So what are the categories? I know we went from death benefits to now we have cash accumulation where you can actually it's tangible, you can invest that. And then we have living benefits, which back then was non-existent, right? So what are the products that you guys offer right now in the industry? What types of, like, how many life insurance options are out there?
Yeah, it's kind of the way first when I present it to a client, it's very simple. Just like in real estate, you either get a term, which is you renting, and then you have a permanent, which is you owning. Just like you're as a realtor, you tell them, hey, look, yeah, you're renting.
Right.
And rent is cheap, right? But it has no value. And I'll say, a term is like that too. It's you have a rent, and it'll be a 20-year, a 30-year, and that's the term of your policy. But it grows no value inside of it. So we do both. We'll do term policies, and term policies might be great for a specific need.
Okay,
And
let's
then
talk
you'll
about
have
that.
yeah,
Like,
and
what's
that
a term
need
insurance good for?
it's for a short-term need, which might be for their mortgage.
Okay.
So it'll be to cover the mortgage, and we'll have it be exact like how their mortgage is. So if they start with a 30-year mortgage, we'll make sure we start them with a 30-year term that's equivalent to what their balance is on their mortgage.
Okay, the life cycle of the mortgage.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
mortgage life insurance that we can do, and it'll work for that. Or you'll have clients that are like, I just need a policy for the next 10 years. I'm getting an SBA loan, and I need to have this while I have the loan outstanding.
To cover the SBA.
Yes, so you'll have that. Or I just need a policy until the kids are older. It's a short period of time, and it really just it's just to pay, it really just pays for the what if in those X amount of years.
Okay. So it's very important, the goal behind the decision, right? So, like, what is the motivation?
Correct.
What are you trying to achieve? Okay, so term insurance. And then what do we have?
On the other side, we have permanent, just like them owning their home. the value when it comes to someone owning their home is the same on that permanent life insurance because there's value that grows. There is cash value that grows. And you can use that cash value just like you would if you have equity on your property, right? You have that equity, and that equity you can use for whatever. You have an equity line of credit that just went into your bank account. You can use that money for whatever you need. Same thing. In a permanent life insurance, you have that cash growing for you with these super cool tax advantages, and you can use that money for whatever the goal may be.
Wow, that's incredible. What's the other side of the component? What else do you guys like? What's the next thing?
So inside of the permanent, you have many types of it. So it's broken down to term and permanent. So in the perm, you'll have different types of permanent life insurance. And whenever we know, that's where, like you as a realtor, you have to figure out their budget. Where do they want to live, right? All of those components, that's the same thing on the permanent side. Figuring out what they want that policy to do for them.
Okay.
How much they want to contribute inside of their policy. What do they want that to be? Is it going to be supplemental retirement? Is it going to be for my kids' college account? So depending on what it is, we'll be figuring out what type of plan under the permanent together. Just like you, making sure what house is going to be their dream, their right house for them, based on their budget, based on what they want that house to look like.
Absolutely. So, and then there's the living side of the insurance, correct? That's
Correct.
a whole new thing that we didn't have. So, can you talk about that? What are the benefits of having a living?
The living is definitely something that's really changed the way that we use our life insurance. Of course, the cash value has always been there on the permanent side of it, but now the availability for you to use your life insurance while you are alive. You cash out from that $1 million life insurance policy. Now you get to cash out from that $1 million in the event of an illness or injury. So that's what the living benefits does. It allows you to become sort of like your own beneficiary of your life insurance policy because you got sick along the way. Number one thing you get a life insurance is to protect the people that you're going to leave behind.
Right.
And the stress and the debt you're going to leave behind if you're no longer there. That's what number one thing you get a life insurance is because of that. But along the way, life happens. We don't know how our health will change. So you have something that you can use along the way. This is like the along the way I become ill and something happens to me, I can cash out from the life insurance and become my own beneficiary.
That's incredible. That's incredible to have that backbone, basically, right? Relief that there's something that you can tap into, and that's going to relieve so much of the stress. So when it comes to selecting life insurance products, are you able to shop around, or are you just representing a particular product or two, or are you able to shop for your clients?
So I'm definitely able to shop because I'm an independent agent. I don't just work for XYZ company and that's it, Lucy. I'm going to try to fit you into one of our XYZ plans. I work with multiple companies and carriers. Each carrier has their niche. That's what they're good at. So being an independent agent working with multiple, I'm able to see what you want this to do. I listen to what you want it to do and what product and company is going to get you there.
Okay.
So freedom, I have a freedom to choose multiple companies, carriers, and have the policy working for you, for working for your dreams. Not fitting you into something that I have to fit you in.
Right, right. And I love that. I think that's very important because one or two product is not going to do it. You have to identify the client's needs, goals, and then go shop for them for the best optimal program that's going to deliver those dreams and goals for them. The rich say they use life insurance as a form of banking. What do they know that we don't?
A book that I just fell into my lap a few years back is about the Rockefellers. And what did the Rockefellers do? And Rockefellers and a lot of that's just one of the families. A lot of rich individuals and families throughout the years have used life insurance as a form of a family bank. Because it's a life insurance with a cash component, you're able to, it's a financial product where you can Number one, you get the protection, and then you have that ability to put in money and take out money, just like in a bank.
Right.
So they use that as a place to put their money in, and at the same time, they're able to take out money. The transactions, it's a place to save your money, grow your money, and be able to access your money at the same time. So that's where they use it. And the number one thing why there, right?
Yes.
You'll say, why in a life insurance policy?
Exactly. That was
Why
my next
there?
question. Why invest in a life insurance when there's so many investment opportunities out there?
Number one big thing is the tax advantages. Because it's in a life insurance product, there's a lot of tax advantages on the cash that's growing. It's an IRS section code 7702, and it allows you the cash that's growing inside of the life insurance policy to be accessed in a form of a loan without any tax consequences. So they're able to put in the money, have the money grow for them,
Season it.
and they loan out the money to themselves without paying any gains taxes. So that's all sheltered. So they use that as a vehicle to have a tax advantage vehicle. They know about taxes. And the
see.
rich, the more money you make, the more you pay attention to taxes. And the rich people, they know about ways to have their money work for them, tax advantage. So that's what they're doing.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. So I know people are skeptical to buy life insurance because of fears. What can you say about that? When you sit down with clients and that comes up, what's the best way to kind of explain that we've come a long way?
Yeah, that's true. When starting off many years back, a lot of people, they didn't believe the companies. They don't believe any company because coming back from the prior experiences, Soviet, collapse of the Soviet Union, they've had some bad taste in their mouth that they don't trust companies. So that was the biggest challenge in the beginning, that they didn't believe that, first of all, clients sometimes didn't believe that they actually do pay out claims.
Yeah.
So we create a folder of, taking out the confidential information of like, hey, look, I just paid out $900,000 of a claim. So what we do is we give them examples, and that's why when a lead comes to me or an agent comes to work for me, the trust factor has to be there.
Yes.
So if they trust them and they trust you, and then you have to provide proof. What I do is I say every state that a life insurance company wants to work with, they have to have an insurance, just like an FDIC insurance with the banks. They got to be also insured. I'll pull out the California Guarantee Association is the Californias.
Okay.
So I'll pull out that insurance. I'll show these are what you're covered with that insurance. And this company has been around for X number of years. And the companies we work with have great ratings. I'll pull up the company's ratings. I'll pull up the Guarantee Association information. I'll show them actual claims. And then a question I'll ask is, I'll say, how many life insurance companies have you heard the last 10 years go bankrupt? And with life insurance, it's a more of a secure because they're not as leveraged as other financial institutions. So they're not as leveraged. So and they're more secure in that aspect, and that usually does it. And the many years of experience, I have to say, we've come a long way. I don't hear as much as I used to in the beginning. So because I think we're paying a lot of more claims in our community. We are paying.
And they're hearing more
They're hearing it
from other people.
Yes. They're telling each other, hey, it's real.
Success stories.
Yes. They're hearing it. They're having, so our community, we're really tight knit. So when I get a claim, well, sometimes you'll have those people that they don't want anyone to know that they
Yes.
got paid. And
Yes.
then they'll spread rumors, oh, they didn't pay us because they don't want the family to know. But then nowadays, people are opening up and saying, yeah, you know what? I got sick and I got $500,000 from my policy. And that's what's happening. And so we've come a long way because we've shown results.
Right.
We are showing results in our community. And that's what our community is more trusting when it comes to life insurance companies.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's a huge buzz, Tina, about how to use life insurance to buy real estate, how to tap in and, leverage your policy. While there's a lot. So it's very tempting. It's very mixed information. So help us understand, how is that possible? How can I buy real estate using my life insurance policy?
Yes, I personally get all that on my feed as well. And a lot of the people that are talking about it are not licensed individual. So they can just say whatever they want to say, right?
Right.
And it is true. In a permanent life insurance, you can put in cash and have the cash grow for you. And you can take it and use it. And I can use that money to buy my property. Of course. So the concept, of course, it works 100%. Now, the fact, what comes a financial professional you're going to need to tell you is which one of those products.
Right.
Because each of them work cash in a different way, and they have different distributions. Like when I put in the money, how does it work? And when I take out the money, how does it work? So that's where the difference comes in. And that's why you do need an agent that's been in the business for many years to help you figure out which one to choose.
I see. So ultimately, the idea is that as you're paying your premiums, and you have also the ability to dump in more cash, more money in there. And the more you put in there, the more compound interest it is earning for you. And as time goes by, it is seasoning, right? It's earning interest. And then let's say like 5 years, 6 years down the line, if you need to access that money, you can not necessarily withdraw from your cash. You borrow against your policy, which is great because I feel like your cash is still accumulating, correct? Correct me at any point,
you're
right?
doing
Am I
great.
understanding?
Yes,
Okay.
you are doing great.
So that's incredible because I feel like, when we think about what type of savings to open up, or what type of investments to tap into, or like, for example, I would think it would be the ideal thing to do is to buy a policy for your children because they're young, right? So can we talk about that scenario? Like, is it a good idea to buy life insurance policy for our kids?
That's actually some clients, Lucy, they come and they say, I just want an insurance for my kid. And that really is like, I'm like, great, I understand that I'll ask why. And it's usually because of the cash component. They're like, I want it to work cash. But the number one thing you get it is the life insurance is for the protection.
Right.
So and then I'll turn around and I'll say, sure, we can do that. But I'm going to ask this question. Do you as the parent have anything going?
Right.
Because the insurance company is not just going to get your kid a policy if you don't have a policy, because the question is, what if the parents are no longer there? Who's going to fund this kid's account? Because life insurance is pre-funding the promises we make to our family every day. It's a pre-funding. With one premium, you have $1 million of pre-funded. If I'm not there and the college is pre-funded, the mortgage is paid off for. So that's where we sit down and what do we need to pay off? And if anything happens to you right now, what are the promises you've made to your family that we need to pay off? But for the kids, yes. For the kids, it works beautifully as well. I'll tell you why. Because with cash and growth, you need a few things. For money to grow, you need time, you need good interest, and you need tax advantage. And without any losses along the way. And that's what the policy does for the kids. The kids have the most amount of time.
Right.
So when you started them younger, you are allowing their money to grow and compound for them because they have more time. And they're the youngest and healthiest now. Why wouldn't we get it? Their costs are lower. So it becomes you lock them in at this younger age. You start the foundation for them. Like for my kids' policies, I own it. I fund it. And whenever they're at that age, at any age, I can transfer my ownership to them. So when I transfer the ownership to them, I no longer own it. They can fund it for their own dreams, whether it's their retirement, their first, whatever it has to be.
The goal is.
Because it's flexible. Whatever goal you tell me now and your goal changes, I don't need to know that. We do. If you want me to know like how much more to fund for your next dream.
Right.
But it can be changed. And I love that flexibility because we know life changes.
Happens, right.
Life changes so quickly. So that's why I look at policies that can change with your life because life is not fixed.
Right.
So you have that flexibility. Put in more, take out more. And for the kids, why not? If I can get something going for them with great interest, no market down, like they're not going to lose money, and it's growing for them, and you have the tax advantages. And the cool thing is it's in a life insurance, it's a life
Shield.
insurance shield protection. So that allows for them to also go and apply for any school programs available for financial aid. So it has its benefits, so many cool benefits that other programs that might be out there, they're so restrained, restricted, and limiting. And I don't like that. I like to have my policy flow with me because life flows.
Right. No, that's incredible because here you are, you can buy a life insurance. Yes, you have the death benefit, but nobody's thinking about that, right? Our kids are young and healthy, thriving. But this is something you can, instead of using a basic bank savings account that pays you pretty much pennies, nothing, right? You are saving money into this policy, and at any moment, for whatever reason, for example, you can tap in, cash out, put it as a down payment. You need funds for a great college, tap into that. There's, God forbid, like a lot of debts, you could do that. You want to buy an investment property for your child, like multi-unit, they can live in, one they can manage. So I think that's a great opportunity, a great leverage. I personally also have insurances for my kids solely for that purpose. So down the line, it's something I can contribute to their future. It's something that they can take ownership for. Even just if you could pass that on as a form of like, just continue on, just like for a retirement plan, because that's something that we're lacking, right? We don't have enough contribution for our, senior years and stuff like that. So I think it has many, many tools. And that is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I feel like we need more education. We need more knowledge, more.
The other day, while you mentioned that, is in the whole U.S., we only have a handful of states that actually teach in their high school financial education. It's so limited. The information we get about our finances is always from our family.
Right.
And our family at that time might have not had the resources, the information. So we're left with who's going to educate us. So that's where we come in. And as an individual, I had the choice. I could have gone to any big companies and work with clients that have wealth over 5 million or X amount of wealth.
Right.
But then I want to be helping the people that are around me. And that's why I chose to have my own agency, my own license to work independently, because I want to first help the people around me.
Right.
Why help the rich? They already know what they're like.
What they're
Why
doing.
not help our own people first? Because our own people are the ones that need the information. So that's really when I made finishing college and getting licensed. And that's where the point was, is do I go and help the rich that are already good, or do I help my own? And I chose to help my own and to help the community educate them.
Right. What's the most rewarding part about your job, Tina?
Our job, it's usually when you get that call, it's a sad call.
Right.
Sadly, it's a sad call. And either they're, number one, they got this to protect their family, but along the way, I've gotten calls that they're sick, and they'll call me, and the weirdest questions will come up, like, can I change it? Let's go to health insurance. Like, can I change my health insurance? I need a really good plan. And I'm like, what happened? Why do you need a really good plan? It might be, I am sick.
Yeah.
I just got diagnosed with XYZ, and I'll be like, do you remember a few years back we got that life insurance? You have living benefits. We can tap into money, and we can get you money in your bank account, and you can use that money to try experimental treatment.
Wow, what a relief that is to hear.
And I do health insurance too, and health insurance doesn't cover experimental treatments. So here you are, you get money into their bank account. They can use that. I've helped a close friend get, sad story. She went to try experimental treatment in Greece. She used the money to buy an investment property that was giving her income, and she stopped working. A very successful friend of mine. So that's what it does, is and puts the money in their bank account for them to use for whatever purpose they need. And that's sad. It's sometimes people close to me that call that really, because it's our business is relationship businesses.
Yeah.
So one way I would have known of them or have done a policy review and connected with them on multiple ways. So it's not a transaction. With me, we're not doing a transaction. We are building a relationship because you are making a big decision. Number one decision in their life is buying their home. You help them, Lucy, with the number one biggest important
Yes.
decision. The next big decision that's important is their financial future. And
How to protect what you have.
protecting you, get them the dream. My goal is to protect their dreams.
Yes.
That's what we do as insurance is we protect dreams. And whenever you get that call that something happens along the way and you have to, there's the voice, you can already tell the low voice,
How hopeless they feel.
hopeless. And then here you are, you're like, I'm okay, let's get the financial thing out of the way. Let's file a claim. Let's get that money in your bank account so you're not worrying about working. You're not, when the financial isn't there, then you can focus on getting better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can focus on taking care of yourself. Wow. That's incredible. I know it's
It's a lot. I know
it's a lot, but at the same time, you're making the difference. See, they had a policy that they didn't even know that they can utilize in this form. So
Yeah.
more awareness, more knowledge, more education around this topic, I think it's very important to have. Tina, you're a mom of 3, working, balancing life. That's a lot. It's very demanding. What makes it possible for you to have that sense of balance, if there is such thing?
You know, there is no such thing as balance, but I think the way things got better for me was I learned about myself. When you learn about yourself, your strengths and your characteristics, and then you're able to use that to your advantage, I've realized I'm a very structured person.
Yes, you are very organized. I know that about you.
I'm
and
very
I love that.
structured. So the way I structure, I like structure. I live by structure, and I like structure, which is creating process and systems. I am a very system driven because I like the structure. I like the system, and I practically systemize my own business, systemize my own personal family. So whatever it is that I want to do better at, I figure out how to systemize it.
Okay.
I create a process, a system, and that system allows you to be more disciplined. And we know nowadays, we used to think that motivation is what keeps people going, and we realize it's not motivation. People don't do things because their motivation is like putting on perfume every morning you leave the house. You're going to need to
Stays out,
reapply.
right.
But what gets people through is discipline.
Right.
It's the discipline. So creating a system and a process creates the discipline. They're all connected. So throughout my life, as things were coming, you start off with just yourself, you're not married. And then as responsibilities were kind of coming and
Yes.
the husband and then
Children.
positions and then agents and you become a leadership. And then as things were growing, I felt like I had to systemize every aspect of it. So it became natural for me to do. And if something didn't go what I wanted to do, I was perfecting the systems.
Right.
I do like to figure out, can I make this better?
Okay.
Whether it's my laundry system.
Yeah.
I hated sorting my laundry. I was like, I realized whatever I
Oh, that
dread.
laundry. I think every mom hates
Yes,
that
like
laundry.
whatever I dread, which was sorting. I realized, hey, I should be sorting through. I should have a 3 set of laundry basket while I'm sorting as I go. And I developed that. And then let me schedule it. And as over time, I was like, I just need to make it automatic. If I make it automatic, I'm not dreading about it, I'll do it. And that's what it is. As things were coming along, I'm a systems brain. I'll systemize, and if you tell me something, I'll figure out how to systemize it and how to make that better and flow better.
Yes.
So that did help me quite a bit.
So do you do that? Do you teach that to your kids too?
As much as I
How to
can,
apply
because
this?
each personality, they're different. Some people, I have 3.
Yes, so-
One likes structure. The other one doesn't like structure. So you have to be a little different approach with the non-structure person because They like non-structure, which is the action personality. I don't know if you've heard about this, the star personality. And action likes to be spontaneous, and you have to throw that in there every so often and create like a reward system too. So this is the personalities, and with the agents as well. When you come have an agent come in, some agents ask for the structure. They love the structure. So when I'm asking them, do you want us to work in a structure? I'm
Right.
trying to figure out their personality and what their expectations of me is as their partner and their leader. So that's helped quite a bit, is learning personalities, learning what works for them, and helping them fine tune things. And that's what it is. Like whatever structure and system I've had in place 10 years they don't work nowadays.
Right.
Look at how much technology and information that we have right now. We can always be doing things better.
Absolutely, but that also means relearning, learning all the time and growing. And that's not always easy, right? It doesn't come easy to everyone, but to apply yourself and to be in the mindset of growing and evolving, that's a big deal for me as well. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You continuously work on improving and growing, whatever that may be. I know you're big about working out and fitness. Besides the obvious reasons why you do it, what does working out, training regularly give you? Why do you do it? I mean, I know you've been training for a long time, so why do you do it?
Of course, I do it because first it was different goals, but I love the way it makes me feel, because when I do work out and I step into the office right after workout, my energy's better. I'm happier. I feel like going back to that structure, I've just check marked another important thing is in my list. And that's what it is like things like waking up and making that bed, check
Right.
mark. You feel accomplished. And I just feel awesome. And the days that I don't feel as good, and
Your
I don't feel as
energy.
motivated. And so, of course, it's amazing what it does for me, and the happy hormones. You can't go wrong with all those
Right.
happy hormones being released after workout. I've never left the workout and say, "Why did I come today?"
Yeah.
You always like, "Oh, like why did I don't want to go?" But then you're like,
Once
"Oh
you're
my
there, you're like,
God, I'm
"Thank
so
God."
happy I came." And yeah, it's been several years. I do a few different. I have days of the week that I'll do something different, and
Yes.
to keep it interesting and challenging. So I love that, and I'm so happy to see you. You've brought on fitness in your life too, Luz, and you've been doing amazing. I love seeing you at the gym, seeing you at the same time take care of you. And so why do you do it?
Thank you for all the obvious reasons, right? To feel energetic, to feel strong. My goals used to be different. Now it has evolved. It's definitely a lifestyle now because I crave it. It's important to me. But more than anything, what's crazy about the dedication when you work out is it teaches you a lot of patience. It has taught me a lot of patience. It's teaching me to be disciplined, to be consistent, to be mindful, very focused. So that time that I'm there, I'm very zoomed in, very focused. It's like the noise goes away, and I'm just thinking about my moves and connecting mind and body. So yeah, it's transformational when it becomes a lifestyle, because it's not an easy fix. It doesn't happen overnight. There are people who work out for like 8, 10 years and they're still not where they want to be, right? So it's one of those things you have to go in with the mindset that it's a long term, it's part of my life, and as I'm there and I'm putting the work, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna evolve, and I'm gonna get stronger, and the rest comes. The body comes, the shape comes, all those benefits come. So yeah, it's pretty epic when you apply it the right way and you're going with the right mind. Tina, I wanted to ask you a little lighter, questions, but again, I just want to kind of the audience to get to know you on a different level. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I think when we're younger, we worry about the little things, and I would tell myself not to worry. things change. Like right now, when you're younger, when something bad happens, you feel like your world has collapsed. It's
Right.
the end. I don't know why. I remember like bad news was like, oh my God. And now for me to know, things change. You'll wake up the next morning, something will be different. So don't dwell on the little things.
Okay. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. Like things, just let it go, I guess. The let it go. And just the world changes every day. And when you're feeling this way right now, tomorrow you might be feeling completely different.
Okay. That's great. So I know you are big on reading. I know you enjoy reading. Any books that you're reading at the moment that you're loving?
I am rereading Mel Robbins' The 5 Second Rule.
Okay.
I love it because it makes me not question myself. So what the 5 second rule is, I know you love it
Yeah,
too.
I love Mel Robbins.
Yes, and the 5 second rule is when your mind gets this idea and your intuition to do something, you have 5 seconds to act on it, or else your brain will give you so many reasons why you
Not
shouldn't
to.
go. And anytime I use that rule is when I'm able to be brave about my instinct and trust my instinct and move forward. So I use that. I love doing that, and I love testing it out in my life. So because being structured, I'm a big overthinker sometimes
Right.
at times. So this allows me not to overthink and just to get up
Take
and
action.
ask for what I want.
I see. And take action, right?
Taking action, because I'm a thinker and a structured. This is pushing my action side to act on my feelings.
That's crazy. And so you tap into your 5 second
5 seconds, you
method.
got to go. When I see something, I want to approach a client, or there's something that I want to do, I go. You count backwards, five, four, three, and you got to start acting. Because if not, your brain will sabotage your idea.
Is it successful every time? Be
I
honest.
have to say, it's been really good. It's been really good. It's even getting out of bed. When that alarm goes off, Mel Robbins was like, I have 5 seconds. I'm a rocket ship. I'm about to launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. So allowing your brain not to wander off. Hey, come back. We're doing
Right.
this right now. You control your mind and your thoughts.
That's great advice. If you could master any skill, is there any skill that you want to improve or master?
Definitely the action part of it. I to act a lot on my feelings, on my feels right, and to express more of my thoughts.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll hold back and I'll think, oh, I don't want to offend someone. So expressing more of what's on my mind.
Okay. That's great. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Yeah. I remember when I was I had a managerial role before, and leaving that role was very hard because I loved it. I loved the people. And I remember when a leader of mine said, a mentor of mine said, you have to move on. They will allow others to figure things out.
Okay.
So allowing others and giving trusting, like being the structure and control type, it's kind of hard trusting others, but I've learned to trust others and allowing them to make
Figure it
mistakes
out.
on their own and being there. So letting it go. Again,
Yes.
going back to that, let it go.
Let it go. Greatest fear?
A rejection. I think that's a fear of being rejected.
Okay.
Because you create a sense of like pride and ego and you don't want to do anything wrong. So getting a rejection is hard, but then if you 5 second mind switch it and get yourself out of that slump mind, that's where it is.
Perfect. I think this was good, right?
I think this was awesome.
The last thing I want to know is what's in it in 5 years from now? What are your plans?
Definitely growing the agency, bringing in more awesome talent. And because they are independent agents, they're able to do, we have a lot of other professionals that come to us and they see that as an insurance as another form of income. So I do look to bring in more talent to work with them, guide them, and be able to be a mentor for more insurance agents in the future.
which part of your job do you gravitate towards more? Training and bringing in talent, or sales?
Because I've been a lot on the back end of the office, operational wise, recruiting wise, training wise, a lot of it I've done is the operations. Sales, I'm really good as well because I listen and I'm a good listener and I'm able to figure out what are you really trying to tell me? Like, what do you really want this policy to do for you? Of course, sales is awesome, and the action part of it is where you thrive on.
Yes.
So operations is easy. Sales is where I get a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I love it.
Yeah.
But the thrill you get is just like after a workout. You know, like after you leave that appointment and you felt like with sales, you really feel like you've made a difference. I've made a difference in this person's life. I've left their home knowing that they're protected.
Right.
The feel is that post-workout feel. The hormones in your mind, it's the same when you leave that family and you know you did good for them.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Tina. I had so much fun. This was very organic, very natural. I hope you feel the same way. Did you enjoy the podcast?
I did. I loved it. I really did because you're just so great. You make me feel comfortable. Besides being my sister-in-law, we have a lot others in this room,
Yes.
but we're just talking to each other, and you guys get to hear like how sister-in-laws talk.
Exactly.
So thank you for having me.
Absolutely welcome.
Yes.